I was late today because I could not leave the pain of Texas without standing with those in a press conference in the Mickey Leland Federal Building to express both our outcry, our pain, our outrage. Last evening, MSNBC had a headline show that said, "The Lone Star Hate." And I stand here today to say there are good people in Texas. There are people who are demanding that there be action in the aftermath of the worst couple of days that we have had in a long time. The parents of the Uvalde children waited 13 hours in the state legislature just to be heard on raising the age of those who could purchase weapons of war. In the midst of that, a family who simply wanted their baby to sleep was slaughtered and murdered. In the midst of that, by, of course, a person shooting an AR-15. A veteran explained to me that that is an M16, a weapon of war, that maims and kills the enemy so that they cannot rise, not be taken care of, not move away from other gunfire. And then, of course, though not by guns, in Brownsville, Texas, some 8 or so people were killed who were simply trying to make sure that they had a peaceful place to be. So I come here today to insist on my own state taking a stand to ensure that the people who are crying cry no more. The individual who killed the people in the mall in Allen, Texas, family members removed him from the house. He was tattooed with huge Nazi insignia and white supremacy. My bill that I introduced, H.R. 61, indicates that white supremacy is hate, and it is a hate crime, and amended the hate crime bill to ensure that if you die because of white supremacy, you get an enhanced sentence in the hate crime legislation or law. He only lasted 3 months in the United States military. We have to do a better job of communicating about individuals, not brave soldiers who have PTSD, but individuals like this who didn't even last because of his views and attitudes and behavior. He obviously hated viciously, but he was able to get an AR-15. After Uvalde, the state of Texas, the governor's office established a DPS task force that was supposed to monitor social media. Why wasn't this individual, with all of his hate? But underlying all of that are guns. And that is what we spoke about today, guns. We asked the state of Texas, the legislature, my friends, and those who work with Republicans, and we asked them to be sure to move this bill to raise the age that the Uvalde parents had waited for 13 hours to 21. It came out of committee. It has to go to the House and the Senate. I stood there today and asked for universal background checks. And I asked the state of Texas why, with the Safer Communities Act, where we had the red flag laws, of course, Congresswoman McBath, we led in the House to protect our kids. It was mandatory. It was mandatory, thank you. But in the Safer Communities, it was optional. Our state has not taken advantage of it. They squeaked through and got a few dollars for the Veterans Court. I'm asking the governor to opt in to the red flag law. Universal background check. The Emily Vaughn gun storage. The ban on assault weapons, the raising the age. These are all items that Texas and other states can do without violating the Second Amendment. I uphold the Second Amendment. But standing with me today were Moms Demand Action, a young man by the name of Jay Love, who in fact is March for Our Lives. Captain Phillips, a police officer who says that 3,200 guns are stolen or taken in Houston, Texas, as the ATF says, out of people's cars. And yet we can't get Texas to act. And those, Rhonda Hart, whose daughter was killed at Santa Fe, who's begging for relief. So with that kind of pain comes the ability to act. And I look forward to working with my colleagues in the Congressional Black Caucus who've been at the forefront of leadership. My colleague Robin Kelly has mentioned over and over again the absolute violence that kills children and others. I close with this simple acknowledgement. There were 8 people who died, I believe, in Allen, Texas. 3 family members left a little 6-year-old with no one. 2 sisters. This is what this sinister, evil man did. But evil in his evilness, he did it with a gun. We must come back to this Congress and do something that is going to make a difference. I hope the Senate can pick it up and realize that we cannot live in this country anymore in the reckless killing and violence that is perpetrated on our loved ones and on Americans. With that, I yield, and I thank the gentlelady and gentleman for yielding. I yield.